Hello, it is me, Pearl from Pearl and the Prayers, and this is Tuned In Tarot, and we are here to take a look at the balance between the divine masculine and the divine feminine energy inside of self, understanding that whatever state we find this energy in, we can expect to see that reflected back to us in our interactions with others, in our external environment, and if we want to see change, we do need to shift and change the energy within, and hopefully my readings help you do just that. If you see me looking in two different directions, it's because I have two different cameras. Camera one, camera two, camera one, camera two. So that's why I don't have shifty eyes. I'm just trying to include you all. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I did not do this reading yesterday. This would be the Friday Love reading. I did not get to it yesterday because my track was released. Yay! And please go listen to it, stream it over and over and over again, and send it to all your friends. Get your mom into it. You know, it's a cool track. It is something I worked really hard on, I'm very proud of, and I'm excited to share it with everybody. So please go and give it some love. But let's get started. We're getting right into it today. Remember, masculine energy is the energy of the mind, the intellect, of what we project into the material. It's giving, it's doing, it's taking action. The feminine energy is the energy of the heart, the soul, emotion, feeling, creativity, receptivity, openness. And you can apply this energy to a person outside of yourself, but the more that you look at this energy as your own internal energy, the more you will understand that the people outside of you are reacting to you because of the way that you think and feel about the world. And as you shift and think how you feel about the world, as you shift how you think and feel about the world, you will be able to change the way that your interactions are with another person. So when you listen to this, you can listen to it as just like the masculine energy is your person and you're the feminine energy. You can do that if you want to. I don't think that's super helpful, though. I think it's really more helpful to consider that your person probably has similar feelings to you, and you probably have some similar behaviors to your person. And if it's not directly towards them, it may be towards yourself. I always say this every time, and I'll say it again for those of you that have never heard me say it, but a lot of times people will be like, well, how can I be like my person because I don't cheat and my person cheats, so that's not a reflection of my behavior. And I can say, true, you do not cheat. You are loyal to your partner. That's not something that you do. But by the very fact that you are so focused, your time, your energy, your effort, honestly, you're just putting all of this into an extremely shallow return on that investment, is to basically be cheating yourself. You're cheating yourself for time and energy. You're betraying yourself. You're giving your heart, you're giving your love to somebody who is not giving it back in any kind of way that would deserve the way that you're behaving. So you're breaking your commitment to yourself in doing that. And that's in that self-betrayal, in that self-abandonment, in that self-rejection, you are attracting someone who is doing that to you. So that's how you can start to learn about those parallels. Yes, we are all mirroring each other. Okay, so overall energy of this week in terms of love. Divine masculine here. This card always makes me giggle. The Page of Wands. So the Page of Wands in this deck is depicted, I mean, that is the Page of Wands. Like, mischievous, fun, adventurous, a little wild, a little out of control. I always get Jim Morrison vibes from Page of Wands energy. There's this playfulness. There is also a level of immaturity that is not very desirable. Like, I'm a feminine energy and a masculine energy balanced, and I really do not want to date someone that looks or acts or behaves like a child. Like, I have a child who's now 18, and, he's allowed to be my child, but, like, not anyone else. So it's not the most attractive energy in the world, necessarily. But in this case, it's also about a spark or initiating something or starting something. So I do think that this is a start to communication, or the start of getting to know somebody. And I also think that the masculine energy may feel just really childish in comparison to the feminine energy right now. Just a little bit. I don't know exactly the word I want to use. Just say at a disadvantage. That's how we'll say it, okay? Divine feminine. Divine feminine energy for this week, we have the Seven of Cups. We're not worthy from Wayne's World. I'm hearing that in my head right now. So the Seven of Cups is about having a lot of opportunities and a lot of options. And it's about choosing one of them. And I'm getting a sense that this week is about choosing someone who is worthy of you. And for your person, this could mean like, you know, they're kind of excited because they finally decided to choose somebody who usually brings them to their knees, but they're like going to go for it. For you, this could be that you're sort of like letting yourself toy with the idea about maybe going out and dating and seeing what the options are to find somebody who's really ready to like worship you, because that's where I'm at. My my Hinge profile is just like, the key to my heart is that you worship me. And if you don't plan on doing that, don't bother. So it could be that. It can also be an energy of somebody being excited because they're finally feeling like they've chosen themselves in some way, and they know because they've done that they're going to experience that same level of someone choosing them, like we talked about before. What does choosing yourself mean, really? Because we say that, I feel like there's a lot of stuff we throw out on social media really cavalier, as if everyone knows what it means and no one really ever articulates it. But choosing yourself means that you're paying attention to how you feel, and that you are choosing thoughts and choosing behaviors that will ensure that how you feel is a priority for you. And, you know, not to the point of disregarding everyone else's needs in the entire world, although sometimes you do need to do that for yourself. Like, within reason, obviously. But you're consistently, like, for instance, this is a really, really, like, minor situation. So there are certain allergens that I prefer not to eat. I do better, my inflammation goes down, you know, whatever. There's certain allergens I choose not to eat. My mother chooses to ignore these things, or pretend like she doesn't know, or act like it's a mystery or something. And so there's a constant, like, back and forth with food and eating in my household. And because I've not been financially in a place to just buy my food all the time, I'm kind of like having to go with the flow a lot. So there are situations where I know that it would be easier to appease my mother's discomfort with my, in her mind, rejection of her lifestyle. Because that is really what happens. If I say, you know, I don't really want to eat nightshades like tomatoes and potatoes and eggplants and peppers, and we're Italian, there are a lot of dishes that is just not going to jive. So if my mom wants to make that dish, then I have to make the decision to choose to, you know, make her feel better. Because if I just eat the food, even a small amount of the food, she'll be appeased and we can move on with our day. But then, you know what? My body's sick. So in the past, that would be a logical choice. Logical for me is, I don't want her to be unhappy, because being around her when she is unhappy is very unpleasant, and I want to avoid that situation. So rather than choosing my body's needs, my needs that I have already declared, and reinforcing boundaries that I have already stated multiple times, I'm just going to go ahead and eat a little bit of this, not eat too much of it, or maybe I'll eat a bunch of it because it tastes really good and it's very hard to resist. And who fucking cares about my needs anyway? Okay? Versus, hey mom, thanks for making that for me. I'm not going to have any tonight. I'm just going to have, the salad with the meat, and I'll just take the sauce out because I don't want to eat that tonight. Hope that's okay. Which it should be okay, but it's not, right? But in that situation, I'm choosing to prioritize my needs, which might not be comfortable for me, but I'm choosing myself because I really want my body to be healthy. I don't want to suffer unnecessarily. And I understand that my need to be at a physical equilibrium and a healthy body is honestly more important than my mom's feelings regarding whether she feels rejected by my life choices, when especially I'm not doing that, right? Yay, nail day, Luna. So that is the lesson of choosing yourself. Choosing yourself doesn't just mean that you're selfish and you don't care about anybody else but yourself. Choosing yourself means when you need to prioritize your needs, you actually weigh them in your mind and you really give yourself weight and value in the decision. Because the truth is, it is up to my mom to figure out how to soothe herself and have equilibrium in a world where people don't do everything she wants them to do exactly the way she wants them to do it. Period. That was never my job as a child, and it's never anyone else's job to manage how someone else reacts to your healthy behaviors. If you're having unhealthy behaviors, that's different. But if you're choosing to have a healthy behavior, if you're choosing to do something that is for you, and the other person doesn't like it for whatever reason, you need to choose what is best for you and your health and your well-being. Okay? So that's what choosing yourself means. So toying with the idea of choosing yourself this week, or someone toying with the idea of choosing themselves, means they choose you. That can also be what's happening this week. In the underlying energy, we also have the Nine of Wands. So this is the supporting energy for the page. A page has one wand, and the Nine of Wands is here, which makes 10 wands, which brings about a completion. So the healing or whatever that was going on in this Nine of Wands coming to a completion. Very interestingly, we also have the Nine of Swords. So the two nines there's, you might want to look up nines as significant number for this week too. And if we add the page and the 7, we get 8, 9, which is that 7, 8, 9 progression energy also. The Nine of Wands as the supporting energy for the masculine is showing me a feminine energy that has really risen above all of this mess here. So the masculine energy is, I feel like, an elevation in their feelings right now, because there is this excitement coming here with this Page of Wands. They want to explore something. They're eager to explore something. There is one feminine energy that has risen above the others during their healing, during the healing that they've been doing, their self-reflection, however that is. One feminine energy has just risen up above all the others, which is what is supporting this, my feeling here that there will be a decision or choice made about you this week. My live will end. We have detected inactivity. Okay. So I guess 11,000 likes and constant comments and me being live are not, that's not activity? Okay. Anyway, moving on from TikTok's freaking terrorist regime that it has over here. So the Nine of Swords for the feminine, the underlying energy of this choice is, I do think there is some anxiety surrounding this choice. I don't think this is an easy or simple or straightforward choice to make. I think this is one that there was a lot of overthinking about, I just told you all the overthinking that would go into a simple choice of saying, Mom, I don't want peppers. Mom, I don't want red sauce, right? All of that mental stuff is going on for that. It should be like this, but it's not. There has been a lot of agonizing over this. Like, for instance, for those of you that haven't gone out and started dating anyone, that should have been a simple choice. This person that's left you dangling for so long and not come through. It should have been like that. You should have been like, all right, well, I'm going to go see what else is out there. But it wasn't. It was like an actually agonizing choice to do that. That could be the energy of this week. It actually gave you a lot of anxiety. It took you a lot to get to the point where you were just finally like, okay, I'm going to choose myself here and my health and wellness or whatever, you know. So I don't think this was a simple decision to make. I think it was difficult. And I think there's probably still some anxiety and fear about coming forward and telling you what the choice is. I don't think that they're just like, because of this energy of not worthy, like I don't feel worthy. I feel like and the fact that you're like way up here on the ladder, I feel like there's definitely a feeling of like, oh boy, I don't know if they're going to actually consider me, but like, here's hoping. Okay. So what's the masculine energy actually thinking about feminine energy right now? We have the Six of Pentacles. I love the Six of Pentacles. The Housewives Tarot has got to be one of the best tarot decks that there is. I think the ghosts in the background, the devil, the trickster energy, the treats, the trick-or-treat vibes. What a great representation for the Six of Pentacles. The Six of Pentacles is about giving and receiving. Obviously, on Halloween, you give a treat to anybody who comes and asks for it. And what you're receiving from them is like the delight of seeing what their costume is, or seeing like the cute kids, you know, dressed up as whatever. So it's not exactly an even return, right? Like you go spend money on candy and then you give it out to people who just stand there and go, chee. But there's something about that interaction that's delightful enough that it's worth it to you, or else you feel a duty or an obligation to do so, and so you do that out of the obligation, but actually you think it's stupid and you hate it. I mean, I guess that's possible. But so it's interesting to look at this card this way, because a lot of times when we see a Six of Pentacles, we think we put something in and we have to take something out that's exactly the same as we put in. But this card is suggesting that no, actually, sometimes just the interaction itself is the payback. And when you get to a point in your life when you recognize that, first of all, your life gets a lot better and filled with a lot more delight, because you realize that what your ego was seeking a lot of the times wasn't what your heart was seeking. And what you actually got from the experience was like worth it. You know, like, yeah, do I want money from reading cards? 100%. But when I read somebody's cards, whether there's money involved or not, the joy that I get from it is, first of all, the experience of channeling feels really good, because you're connecting to something that is higher, like in it, the way that it perceives things. And so you don't feel like you're in this like just lower energy of like heavy, you know, material focus. You feel like lighter from that energy. And then when someone else is helped, or feels better, or is astonished, or whatever, you're excited. You're like, oh, good. That's what I was hoping would happen, you know? So you want to think about in life those experiences where you are saying like, oh, I told you I loved you and I want you to say I love you back. But your person did all of these other things that they would never do for anyone else in this, you know, particular way that is how they show their love for you. And that is how they said, I love you. And you dismissed that because it wasn't the exact thing you expected. That's an example of how this card might be playing out for some of you in your connections right now. But what this person is thinking about is that is all I've done with the ghosting energy and the trickster energy. Whenever my person has given me something of value, all I've done is just kind of show up and like with this stupid grin on my face, like, I haven't really done anything of note. I haven't really done anything of significance. I haven't given them a treat, right? I've only really given them tricks. And I don't like that feeling. This is definitely somebody who's reflecting on themselves and being like, I told you, they're feeling really childish in comparison to the feminine energy. Like, God, I was childish for doing that. That's how the masculine energy is thinking about the feminine right now. The feminine gives me all of this sweetness, you know, like, and what am I doing but just being like, oh, trick or treat, like, wow, great. Um, Divine Feminine, what are you thinking about the masculine? I'm sorry. It's an Eight of Cups and this bitch is just sitting there. That's what you're thinking. You're thinking, okay, are you sad? You sad because I walked away? You sad about that? What are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do about it? You just gonna fucking sit there and be sorry for yourself and watch me keep walking? Because you're right. You're right. I did give you everything and you gave me just this bullshit. And now you're just gonna sit there. That's literally. Also, note we have 7 and 8 of Cups now. So 7, 8, 9. And with that page energy, we end up with 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. That's just stupid. So there's progress here. Don't worry. We're not telling the old story over again. But that's what Divine Feminine is thinking. I walked away, and you're gonna sit there and cry about it. You understand I would not be walking away if you were giving equally to me. That wouldn't be happening. Why is this so hard to do? Okay, so that's Divine Feminine, what she's thinking. That's what she's really thinking, okay? What is Divine Masculine really feeling? The 6 of Swords. Yeah. I recognize that you did walk away. You left me. You're there waving goodbye with your baggage packed. And I feel that that the third party energy that I had in my trickster energy, and that can be my addiction to work, a substance, getting physical, whatever. My addiction with that, that was in between us, whatever. It could have been an actual person. It could have been kids. It could have been, what doesn't matter. Everybody's situation is going to be different because it's a collective reading. You know what it is. Whatever you is in the way. And if you're like, well, I don't know if he has a third party or not, it doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter. It's because if something gets in the way, it will be whatever it is that will just get in the way. It will take on whatever permutation it needs to be. Like if your person is somewhere that they can't run into somebody and meet somebody, then the third party is going to be an addiction to porn or something. You know what I mean? Or an addiction to a substance, like I said. So it doesn't matter. It's something that got in the way. You had enough of it and you pieced out. Like you pieced out. You're like, bye. So Divine Masculine feels that you have moved on, or feels that you are moving on, or that you are moving away, traveling away from his shenanigans. Divine Feminine, how do you feel? Okay, whenever I see this card, the only thing I can ever think of is butthead. You know, that's all somebody said it once when I pulled it out, and now that's all I can think of. So I do feel that you feel like he's not being smart with the fact that you know that masculine energy has deep feelings and emotions for you, for whatever creative endeavor, whatever emotions that you're having, like that he deeply, 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 deeply feels those things, but he's doesn't say anything about it. He just keeps it to himself. I do think you also feel that this is a kind, loving, gentle person, which is why this is so infuriating to you, because you can't, even though this is annoying as fuck, you can't really fault this person because you also feel like, well, they're, you know, I understand they're wounded, they have this history. I do think they're kind. I really don't think that they're malicious. I think that they're a good person. So you really do feel like this is a good person, but you also feel that they are really being dumb. They're really not being smart with how they're behaving. I also think it's interesting that feminine energy sees the masculine as an adult, and the masculine is seeing themselves as a child. So the feminine energy is frustrated because it's like, I see you as an adult. yet you're acting like a child. Why are you acting like a child? And it's because the divine masculine is genuinely seeing themselves as one. Okay, so that's kind of interesting. So what is the divine masculine energy actually saying to the feminine this week? Well, here's an adult. Okay, we finally have an adult. And we don't have, it's not just any adult either. It's the King of Wands. So here's the thing though. We already saw what the energy of the week was. Page. And this position is what the masculine is saying about themselves. But what we know is that what they really are is the page, but what they're saying they are is this. And this is why things aren't working out. Because they actually perceive themselves as childish and beneath you. And they come out with all this bravado in the King of Wands energy as like, I'm the man, okay? Or I'm the person, because it really isn't gender related. It's like, I'm this person that takes action and I go get what I want. And I'm going to fix everything, okay? Like, I'm going to fix it all. I'm going to fix everything. I also see this person as saying, I'm really busy. I'm very busy. I'm very important. I have a lot of things to do. I have a lot of responsibilities that I need to take care of right now, and that can't wait, because that's King of Wands is an energy of this. Things can't wait. So my life is very busy, and these things can't wait. Well, hooty. What's Divine Feminine saying? The Hierophant. Learn your spiritual lessons, bitch. That's what the feminine energy is saying. When are you going to learn? Remember how I was feeling like you were not smart? Well, you have a lot of these limiting beliefs, these limiting ideas about how to act and how to be. And you've come upon all of these ideas without even asking me also, without getting any information from me. No data. You're just like, this is the kind of person that my person wants to be with. Is it? We haven't even discussed that. You don't even know what I want at this stage. You're literally guessing. I'm also seeing Divine Feminine is like, that's cool. You're a man of action. You're a person of action. You wanna go out there, do what's got to be done. That's fine. Put a ring on it. Hierophant energy. Marry me. Make the vow. Make the commitment. You know, I can see that you are hot for me. That's great. Then make a commitment to me. Put a ring on it. Also, Divine Feminine is saying, I am faithful to you. I am committed to the connection. And I see you. Because when the cards are on my desk, it's like, I see you, bitch. I see how you feel. I see how you feel. So you can beat around the bush all you like, but we know, okay? We know who's replaying my video over and over, right? All right, so what's Divine Masculine actually doing? Saying action. What's he actually doing? High Priestess. So this is interesting. This is keeping secrets, but it's also about trusting feminine energy and trusting your intuition. And we see feminine teaching, because there's a classroom here. There's these empty chairs. So it's like, what's he actually doing? He's like learning from the feminine energy. So he might be saying like, I've got this. I need to take care of all these things right now. I'm super responsible. Da, da, da. But what's actually happening is that he's learning from the feminine energy how to be what he says he wants to be. Because he wants to do this. He wants to be the one who comes and takes the action. He wants to be the rock star. He wants to be like, you know, the top of his field. He wants to be the one for you. But you have to learn how to be that, right? You have to learn who that is, because this only works if you're truly authentic to yourself. If you're not being really authentic to who you are and what you really like, and you don't know who that is, it's very difficult. So he's actually tuning in to that information, which I love. My sister just texted me, "Mom is a literal nutcase." She's out on a trip with her right now, so I feel. Let me tell you what. Let me tell you what. My sister is 11 years younger than me. We both moved out to Los Angeles around the same time. She moved out just before me, and I moved out after. We lived in Los Angeles together for about a decade. And towards the last few years of the time that we were there, actually during COVID, things got a little strained between us for various reasons. So when she came back home, it was interesting energy because I was like, oh, I'm really looking forward to like working on it because we have always been so close. We've been very close. But I didn't think about this side effect, and it's actually been one of the best experiences that I've had. I've been here for 2 years, and I've been doing my inner child healing with my mother, who is, I love my mother. She's an amazing woman. We're going to leave it like that. But my mom was the daughter of a narcissistic abuser. So the damage and the trauma has never had therapy, girl. She has never had therapy. And it's a lot. I did not realize that as a side effect, I was already looking forward to restoring my connection with my sister, which we totally did almost immediately. But the icing on this cake, which has been actually delicious cake, is that she understands now exactly what's like. A lot of the things that I've tried to tell her over the years have not gotten through because she's had a different relationship with my mom. But I've been like, but this and this and this, and she's been like, yeah, da da da. But now that she's here, and now that she's at a point of healing where she's understanding like her autonomy and like her, like how we've had to tiptoe on eggshells and do all the things that you do when you have that situation. Now she gets it. So I keep getting validation all the time, and it's just not something I expected I would be getting, and I really enjoy it. Okay, so sorry about that interruption. So divine masculine energy here is really tuning in and learning from the feminine energy, learning from his feelings, learning from his emotions, and trusting them, trusting that the way he is feeling is right. And I gotta be honest with you, that's probably why he's in a page energy. Because once you start doing that and realizing that you can trust yourself and it works, it's exciting. Like, it actually is exciting. So what's divine feminine doing? Being coy. We love we love the body language in this. Princess of Cups. This is like, here's my cup. Fill it up if you choose. That's definitely her feeling here. For the Princess of Cups energy is a page, another page energy. She's feeling innocent. She's feeling naive here. She's feeling true love. She actually is feeling those things, but what she's doing is she's being patient here with those feelings. She's allowing that to bloom into something, to blossom into something. She's also expecting an apology. And she's just like, listen, here's my cup for you. And as Luna loves it when I say, I brought a fish, because it's really the only card that has the fish in the cup. I brought you a fish. But are you going to take the fish? Are you going to take the offer? And so what Divine Feminine's doing is she's offering her heart. She's being open. She's really, it's really kind of beautiful because I see the trust here and the allowing herself to be vulnerable and kind of innocent in this process. If Divine Masculine can make good use of this energy, there really could be something lovely happening between the two of them. But she's approaching with like a little bit of a coy energy. And where we end up now, so how do we create more harmony for the masculine energy between what he's thinking, feeling, saying, and doing? We've got the Magician. The Magician is the key to the Magician being an effective energy is that you must be collaborating with spirit. You must be collaborating with spirit. It doesn't work any other way. If you do a spell and the spell doesn't really work, it might be because you're still thinking that you are supposed to be doing something more than what you've already done. And like the day after the spell, And if you're not, and you don't have, this doesn't have to be like magic witchcraft spell. This can literally be a prayer that you said. This can be like affirmations that you're writing down. Can be whatever it is that you're trying to like manifest or create a change in your reality or a shift in your reality, whatever it is. If you're like, I keep doing these things, but there's no magic happening. I'm not seeing like the response happen once I do the thing. It's likely because you didn't really believe in it. Like you did it, and then the next day you woke up thinking, okay, well now how am I gonna get, like, let's say you did some spell to try to like get your, like my car that's at risk right now, and I need like $2,500 minimum. Be really great actually to get $3,000 at this point. I need that $3,000. And you wake up the next day, and so you do the spell, and you're like, okay, $3,000 coming to me, Tweedledee or whatever. Okay, and you wake up the next day, and then the first thing you think of is, what could I do today to get that $3,000? How could I, make that happen today? What are the steps I should take? Or you go to the deck and you're like, okay, show me how it's going to come, when it's going to come, when's it going to come? Okay, when's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I love you, but it's not going to happen like that. It's not. Because the magic is that you believe in miracles, you believe in intervention, that's divine intervention, you believe that there is another power or force. You can call it whatever you want to call it. It can even be just your higher version of self. It doesn't, I don't care. But you have to believe that there is this version of yourself that already has the thing, or that there is this higher power that brings the thing to you, or it's a two-way experience. It's not just, oh, I'm doing it so that I can like tell myself I did it and then pretend that works. No, it's like you believe that it does. You believe it does. And that's not simple to do. If it was, everybody would be a magician, and it wouldn't be a big deal. You would be like, oh yeah, I do that every day. I wanted, I wanted an IKEA Swedish meatball meal, and there's not an IKEA anywhere around. So bling, and then it just appears in front of me. Like, everybody would just do it. But it's hard. It's hard to believe in something you can't see yet. So Divine Masculine's work, or your work in your mind this week, is to believe it before you see it, period. And when the doubt creeps in, you have to counter that with your belief. Divine Feminine, how do you create more harmony between what you're thinking, feeling, saying, doing? The Seven of Swords here. This is kind of interesting because it's a similar type of an energy of trying to strategize or plan or something, and just having to allow things go on behind the scenes that you don't know about, and trust in your intuition, and just trust that what's going on is for you and not like against you or to you. Yes, it's already done is the energy of the Magician card. Already taken care of. What you can tell yourself is, it's already been done, and now what I'm doing is I'm not like creating the thing anymore, because the thing was created as soon as I imagined that I desired it. I'm not creating it anymore, and there's nothing that's being done to create it anymore. All that's happening is I'm working towards observing it, because that's how reality happens, is our observation, which is why they tell you if you're talking shit, you're getting shit, because what you're saying is what you're observing, and it continues to be observable. So you have to speak in a way that it's already done. Like, my car is already taken care of. It's already been paid for. I don't have to worry about it. It's not an issue. It really isn't. I honestly don't spend time thinking about it a lot anymore, because I was doing that before. I was trying to figure out how to do the thing, which is the Seven of Swords. How do I do the thing? How can I cheat? And get away with or avoid, or none of that. You can't get anything by avoiding. I wish we could. I will say you can change circumstances by postponing. because I learned that lesson. I've often faulted myself for being a procrastinator. I'm a Pisces rising, and I fully lean into the avoidant energy of avoiding reality a lot, especially if I have something that has any anxiety associated with it. With a person with pathological demand avoidance, normal demands for a normal person, like brushing your teeth or, making sure you prepare food, or just like those normal things that people deal with on a daily basis. For somebody with pathological demand avoidance, the overwhelm that can happen surrounding the task or the timing of the task or whatever it is will cause us to go into a freeze mode. Like, we get anxious and then we freeze and we have to avoid it. If you want to see somebody with anxious, avoidant, both anxious and avoidant attachment, watch Queer Ultimatum, which is a really interesting show. Anyway, go watch the Queer Ultimatum. And there is a character on there, and I'm trying to think of the name now of which, Ozzy. Ozzy is quintessentially avoidant. And watch what happens, how uncomfortable they are, how they shut down, how they absolutely cannot communicate. It's very frustrating to watch because if you can communicate, if that's not an area where you have an issue, watching someone with that issue is baffling and frustrating. But the way that you can see the discomfort and their inability to deal or handle those tough conversations. That's how I react to like material things, like financial stuff. Like, I am like if you watch me, you would be like, oh my God, just do it. Just freaking call them. Abby was with me. Abby can testify. She was with me in the car and was able to see like my stress that comes up surrounding these types of activities. So it's really uncomfortable to have to face things and just to avoid, and I will avoid things. But sometimes it can work out, which is also why an avoidant person, because you'll get reinforced. Like, I avoided a ticket that I had. I kept postponing the court date for valid reasons, but also because I didn't want to deal with it. And it happened for so long that when I finally got into the court, the judge was just like, this is too old. I'm going to throw this out. I was like, okay, cool, thanks. So sometimes postponing something can be effective because it takes out the emotional, the fear and the anxiety from it, so that when you get to it, you're like, well, I can't do anything about this now. And then it's not as lethal. But normally avoiding something makes it worse, more and more frightening, more and more of an issue. So that avoiding energy, divine feminine, work on that. All right, now, what's the happiness potential in this connection this week? Okay. So we have the Queen of Cups, which is the match here to the King of Cups in the feminine side, is coming up for the masculine. The Queen of Cups is beautiful. She's affectionate, kind, compassionate, good, just like that King of Cups energy. She's a nurturer. She's psychic and sensitive. In this depiction of her, she's like got that drink waiting for him when he comes home. But what I'm seeing here is an attentive feminine energy. So, and remember, what he's actually doing is tuning into the feminine energy, which is showing me that it's likely that the masculine is taking care of his needs. So this is your mind recognizing that you need to choose your needs, which was what we talked about at the beginning of the reading. So, this energy is really positive, likely good outcome for the happiness potential here, because if you both know how to take care of your emotional needs, you'll both be able to communicate and express. You'll both be able to help support one another in that energy. That's a very positive outcome. For the feminine, we are getting the King of Wands, which is another butthead here. These freaking cards are funny. And the King of Wands, we already saw the Divine Masculine is saying, I am the King of Wands. Divine Feminine is saying, if you are the King of Wands, if I feel like you are the King of Wands, which means you are bold, you are confident, you can express yourself, you take immediate action without postponing, You consider me one of those responsibilities that needs attending to right away, okay? If you take action, if you are monogamous, because the King of Wands is a monogamous king because he has his sexual energy mastered. I have seen other readers say the King of Wands is not monogamous. For me, unless it's a reversal on that energy, he absolutely has mastered his sexual energy. Knight of Wands, not so much. King of Wands, absolutely. That's the upgrade, right? The Knight is going to bring you somebody that's going to be like probably really great in that respect. Like you're going to want to go back for more, but you might not be able to because that bitch is moving on fast, right? The King of Wands is like, knows how to do it and does it with one person because he knows that that's what feels the best. He has that mastery. He does what he feels is good. And anybody who is in that, like, has that connection with that one soul, that is what feels really good. If you are in a poly situation, then you're connecting with souls that are on that level, that have that mastery. You have that ethical polyamory going on. It's not just like everybody's fun thing to say, like, I want to be poly, and it doesn't have anything to do with ethical non-monogamy. But this person is ethical in their intimacy. Okay. So yeah, that for me looks like good happiness potential. If you can show me the money, if you can show me the goods, then I will be here for it. I will be here for it. Okay. I'm going to wrap this up, and then we'll take a few last minute cards here from anybody who might want me to pull some cards for them. Let's get Divine Masculine's final words to the feminine. We have Groundhog Spirit here with time to let go, and it is the protection message that's coming up. Number 31. And it says, Divine Feminine, I have been relentless in my efforts to revive something that has passed its prime and may have needed to die away. A situation, a relationship, a belief, or a habit that served me once but no longer fills me with vitality. I think that I automatically expected to see the world through a specific lens based on the familiar. But I have appeared at this time to let you know that I realize that it is time to accept that the past is the past, so I can allow myself to feel the loss and grieve it if I need to. I understand that any sadness will not last forever or overwhelm me. I know that Spirit is with me and wants me to experience joy and excitement again, and will help me through this transition from the old to the new. I am keeping my eyes open, for winter always gives way to spring, and endings always give birth to beginnings. For now, I am letting myself feel my emotions, releasing them to make way for the joy that awaits us. Spring and new growth are on their way, for I know that that is Spirit's promise to us. Okay, with the growth, we really enjoy that masculine energy. Good for you. Pat yourself on the back. That's a beautiful energy. This is you coming to a peaceful place, letting go of what has not been serving you and letting the sadness happen, feeling the grief, feeling the loss, and knowing that as you release those emotions, you are making room for the emotions that you're seeking, those better feeling emotions. So that's a beautiful, beautiful energy that's coming from the mindset, the masculine, and your person. Divine Feminine, Koi Fish Spirit, there's always enough. I talked at length about finances today. I'm sure all of us here, and if you didn't catch that, was because I did like a little shuffle on TikTok before the reading, which I sometimes do. So if you're not following me on TikTok, you might want to hop over there while you still can before it's gone. I actually don't think it's going to go away. It's a Leo. It was born in July or something. It's a Leo. That's just not going away. It will morph into something, or they'll end up winning their case because it's like free speech, but we'll see. Okay. Koi Fish Spirit. There is always enough. So Divine Feminine, this is what you would say to the Divine Masculine. The koi fish who grows big within a small pond reminds us that within each of us is the potential for prosperity. The law of abundance ensures that prosperity is our natural state, so regardless of temporary outer conditions, you can call in prosperity and magnetically attract the opportunities and abundance you need. My message is to begin to generate wealth within with deliberate intention, no matter how small your pond may seem, and appreciate abundance whenever you see it. Outer conditions will come to reflect your inner prosperity, so begin to become the self who is comfortable with wealth in all forms. Even if at the moment it feels as if riches are not yours, they soon will be. Start to envision the plenty that Spirit wants you to experience, knowing that the moment you begin to commit to conscious and deliberate co-creating, which is what we talked about with the Magician card today, Spirit will joyfully start bringing you what you need. We literally talked about this today. You have so much to offer and so much of value to express to the world, Divine Masculine. In your little pond, there is much you can create and much you can attract. Do not underestimate what you have and who you are, for I want you to know that you are exquisite, loved, and deeply cherished. Trust that outer conditions are changing to reflect the truth. I love and approve of that message. All right, now we have here the Human Spirit Oracle cards for Divine Masculine. We have Support System coming in, which is a lovely energy. Number 20. It says, you are awesome, and we hope you are finding that the people you surround yourself with lift you up when you are soaring, as well as comfort you when you are down. Everyone needs a support system, a true blue friend, a therapist, a group, or a lover. Surround yourself with this sort of person. It is a wonderful thing to watch those we love thrive and flourish. Strong arms to hold us, a helping hand to lift us up, as if it was part of our own being, not even a thought given. Community is so important, even if it is a community of 2 or 3. Take pride in yourself. This means it is okay to be choosy with the people you surround yourself with. You are a one-of-a-kind gift, honey. You deserve a wonderful support system filled with love, pride, and truth. If someone is not there for the good and bad times, then what exactly are they there for? I was thinking about that yesterday with my track release. I was thinking about how my person was not there with me and has never been there with me through any of my track releases. And I even mean like energetically. Like there have been times when my person has released something and I have celebrated it online for and with that person. And then as I continued to see that my person was never going to give me that same kind of consideration, I really just pulled back from celebrating their releases. And I put something out yesterday and there was not a single allusion to it. There was not any acknowledgement of it. There was no consideration for it in any way at all. And I feel like if someone is not there for the good and the bad times, then what exactly are they there for? And that is what I would say to that person right now. I would be like, what exactly are you there for in my life? Because I have yet to figure it out. Okay, number 10, road less traveled. We're getting the protection message. I don't have a lot of reversals in this deck, so I'm going to read the protection message specifically. Divine Feminine, this message is for you. It says, driver's license and registration, please. You are on the right path, truly being your most authentic you. We absolutely love this about you. You have been enjoying the journey, finding all those little hidden treasures on your road to Humanville. Don't worry about being in the fast lane. Set your cruise control and make your own way. You have charted your own course, written your own map, and sometimes this can be a lonely, solitary journey, and that is okay. Put some tunes on that you are too embarrassed to play when others are in the car and sing your heart out. When you have reached your destination, it is okay to send your coordinates to others. It is not your directions they need, but a beacon to start a journey of their own on the road less traveled. Until then, remember there is no roadmap or GPS needed right now. Stay on your course because the destination is an authentic life lived. Wow, that totally resonates for this whole reading. Also, I'm seeing so many of you have stayed through this reading and commented and liked, and I am just really loving this energy so much. I've missed you, and I really appreciate all of the love that you're sharing with me today, so thank you very much from the bottom of my heart, genuinely. Okay, and the final card for the collective, we have my favorite health check card. What was I talking about? Avoidance energy? Okay, so this week we're doing a little bit of a health check on ourselves. This is the self-care activity. Remember, self-care activities are significant. If you've watched other readings that I do, and I do a self-care activity at the end, I imbue this activity with the power to bring about whatever intention you set for it. Since this is a love reading, normally this will have something to do with a connection in our lives, wanting a connection to manifest, wanting a person to communicate, etc., etc. So when you do this activity this week, every time you do it, the intention is that you are, without doing anything in regards to the other thing you're desiring, you're creating and shifting and changing the energy so that that thing can happen. So if you are intending that somebody will contact you this week and actually choose you, if that's the storyline that's coming through here and you really resonated with that, or that you will choose yourself and someone will choose you because that is them choosing themselves to do that, then when you do this self-care activity this week, you are facilitating the magic that needs to happen to make that possible, especially when you believe in the self-care activity as having done that. So let's get a little information about this. There is a mantra that you can say, and like I said, the mantra is also powerful, right? So make sure you're really writing these things down and trying it. Try it for a week. One of the things that helped me the most in my life is I started taking my own advice. I've been doing these readings since 2020, and in 2021, I remember I started actually doing the activities that I would suggest to do. And great to see you, Rose. I will see you later. And don't forget, if you want to catch the end of the reading, which this is really the end of the reading, you can see the whole thing on YouTube later tonight. So thank you so much for being here. But I actually started to do the things I would say at the end of the reading. And that's when things really started to shift for me. And when I don't take the advice at the end of my reading, I definitely notice a difference. So 100% remember, these are really effective things that come through. So your mantra that you're saying this week is, I am healthy in my mind, body, and spirit. So I'm going to take a picture of this too. For those of you that are like driving or you can't write this down right now, I'm going to take a picture of this. I'm going to take a picture of the card and I will put it on passes.com/prosprayers, which is where my membership is. It's free to follow me over there. You have to subscribe to be able to see everything on the wall all the time, but there is free content that I put out on the wall for followers, etc. So go over there if you want to be able to read this later or write down the mantra or whatever. But the mantra is, again, I am healthy in mind, body, and spirit. And the journal prompt is, what aspect of your health is your body calling you to focus on? This card says, good health empowers us to thrive in all areas of our lives. Take a moment to tune in with yourself, scan your body, and feel what is right and what needs attention. Even if you're feeling generally well, most of us have a little fine-tuning to do, like drinking more water, eating more fruits and veggies, or simply getting more nights of restful sleep. Whether you work with a doctor who practices conventional Western medicine, or a trusted natural or holistic wellness professional like a nutritionist, a practitioner of traditional Chinese medicine, an herbalist, an Ayurvedic physician, or a doctor of functional medicine, consider booking an appointment to stay on top of your yearly checkups and tests. If you have an ongoing issue that perhaps you've been putting off, now is the time to address it with a professional who aligns with your needs. Okay, so when you engage in this self-care activity this week, you are facilitating whatever intention you are imbuing this activity with. The other thing I want to add to this card is I just saw a doctor talking about Hashimoto syndrome, which is, I have Hashimoto's thyroiditis, very common. I think like 70% of people with thyroid problems have Hashimoto's, so it's very, very common, and you might have it. And this doctor was just talking about all of the different tests you should have and different kinds of nutritional things you should do, etc. I know a lot of it, but one thing she mentioned, which I did not know, and I thought was really significant. She said that they did a study of prisoners, and what they discovered is that many families that had children with some that ended up in going to prison and some that did not end up traversing that path, one of the things that they discovered that was common in all of the situations, and of course this is correlational science, and correlational science is, of course, it can be faulty. But correlationally, they observed that the prisoners had nutritional deficiencies, and they had things wrong with their, like, they had thyroid issues, they had actual nutritional deficiencies, and nutritional deficiencies can cause mood altering behaviors, extreme mood altering behaviors. So the importance of really, really nourishing yourself in a way that is not at all about your size or shape, but is much more about your energy levels and your mental health and all of that. It's so vital to you being able to, like, live a healthy and productive life. And so many issues that you might have right now could be from little things that you're not even aware of. Maybe you shouldn't eat nightshades. Maybe you should, like, everybody else does fine with nuts and seeds, and maybe you don't. Maybe those little things are the reason that you don't notice them, is because we're taught not to really have a relationship with our body, not to really understand our body's language, not to tune into our body's language. But it's extremely important, and it will change a lot of factors in your life. Things that are super obvious, like people that drink alcohol have a lot of different complications that can arise from consistently drinking more alcohol than you need to drink and on a daily basis. Like, those are obvious things, but then there are some things that are very, very subtle. If you're interested in talking about nourishment, I've worked with people that have eating disorders. I have an eating disordered past. I'm not a therapist, and I'm not a nutritionist, but I just have experience in dealing with some of these things, and I can help you find where you need to go if you need a nutritionist, if you need a therapist in regards to your nourishment. And also just some things that you might not know about nutrition that I have learned just because I've had orthorexia at various stages of my life, and I've learned every possible thing you can learn about nutrition. So I know a lot about it, and I specifically know a lot about it for if you have issues with inflammation. So if any of that is interesting to you, please remember that 50% off of that one-on-one session, that sale is ending this week. You can use that to talk about any of those issues, because I also talk to people about their body image and about their relationship with food. It's not limited to just conversations about an ex or the person that you want to be with or your twin flame, or it's like anything that would increase your quality of life that we can discuss, and I can help you with finding the right resources, finding what works for you, and also just really giving you the permission to figure out what works for you and what's best for you, and the confidence to choose yourself and pay attention to your own needs. I will imbue you with that skill. That is what I do. So again, remember, 50% off, you get to book this session, but I will give you 2 sessions within 30 days. So you'll get your first session, and then within 30 days of that session, you can have another 60 to 90 minute session for free. This is the last weekend that I'm going to have this available. I'm shutting down this sale this weekend, so take advantage of it as soon as you can. All right, everybody, I am going to close down this YouTube reading, and I will answer if there's anybody who wants a 1-card pull. I will do a 1-card pull for a few minutes, and then I'm going to go because I'm late for nail day. But thank you so much for being here. Go listen to my track. I don't know if you've heard. Stream it. Love it. Share it. Please, please, please share it. Share it, share it, share it, share it, and share it again. That is how music gets played. That is how music gets heard. That is how music gets popular. I literally can't share it with everybody that you can share it with. Your network is more diverse than mine because you're in my network, and I've already reached out to everybody in my network. So definitely share. And thank you so very much, everybody. I will see you soon. Take care.